What's up, XRP family? Thank you guys for joining the video for today. So for the people that really do not understand how big this case is, let's take a look from John Deaton's perspective. He's gonna tell us how big this case really is, and that is why it takes so long for a verdict for the judge to actually reply and rule, right? So I know that a lot of people are so impatient today and they want this verdict to happen, but you have to understand the caliber, the scale, and how big this decision is, and that is why it is taking this long, guys. This is a serious case. This is going on for 2 years right now. This is one of the biggest event that can change a lot of things in the financial world right now. Let's take a look.
So I just want you to think about those of you out there who are thinking about this. Why hasn't she ruled yet? What I doubt very seriously that Judge Torres has ever felt the pressure that she's feeling right now. Ripple is sending, hey, Judge, look what the judge in Voyager said. Look what the Judge Gorsuch at the Supreme Court said about fair notice. All of these things are happening after. She's getting more information. Look at the SEC's conduct. Look at Binance. Look at the CFTC. All of this stuff is happening in the background where you got guys like me saying the regulatory clarity is going to come from her. You've got the library decision. You don't think she's aware of all this? So this decision is as big of a decision that this judge has ever faced. Think about it. What other decision is as big as this decision when it comes to global trade and finance in modern history? I've said before that this case is the most significant non-fraud SEC enforcement action since 1946. So that kind of pressure, personally, I don't blame Judge Torres for being very careful of how she words this decision because A, if it goes against Ripple, she knows it's going up to a conservative court. And if it's for Ripple, she has to justify it and all those things. So just be patient. We're almost at the end. Everybody have a great night. See you next week.
So this is very key, guys, and this is what you have to understand by thinking that this has to end and all of that. We know that, guys, but there's a reason why we are expecting XRP to really go to a high price, right? There is a reason for that, and the reason is because it's so big of a thing, right? It's a big event. It's not easy. Did you know that the SEC not only did not charge Jet McCaleb, but actively fought and asked the court to prevent discovery against Jet McCaleb? The guy has sold more XRP than all the charged parties combined, and the SEC is protecting private citizen McCaleb and his company. Very weird, right? Because the SEC is kind of protecting McCaleb here, while he was one of the biggest ones that was actually selling XRP. If they deem it a security, he was selling securities. So why are they protecting him? This is something very weird and something that goes not by the judge, because she said documents regarding McCaleb, Stellar, XLM are likewise demonstrably relevant. As you know, Mr. McCaleb was co-founder of Ripple and appears to have sold some more XRP than Mr. Gollinghouse and Mr. Lawson combined. Your assertion that such documents are unrelated to this case is without basis, right? So she understands that. This judge is really, really sharp, guys. Here we have it's already happening. Let's take a look what these guys are saying.
So if I'm just, I guess if I'm an outside commentator, we should stop building these corresponding banking networks entirely.
And it's already happening, some bit of it, right? But of course, what I would say is
Is it just because the remittance companies make so much more money doing the corresponding banking networks?
I think I would say two things, right? So one, I would say because there is not regulatory clarity, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in all parts of the world. RippleNet, for example, the ODL solution can't be launched in a number of jurisdictions because there's no regulatory clarity, right? So today, if
So to achieve that full connectivity,
absolutely,
they need to have
so they need to have the full portfolio of this thing. And then the second thing that I would say is that all innovations take time. So there are, of course, adopters, and now it's at critical mass where it's moving very, very fast, but also at the same time, adoption itself takes time, right? So if you and me, after a few years having a discussion to say, hey, what is the state right now? I would be surprised that there is any institution that is not taking advantage of the blockchain technology that is available to essentially significantly create efficiency versus where they are today.
Okay.
See guys, so this is very key as well. Adoption takes time. That is why XRP Ripple has been here for a decade, right? And it's going to take more time to fully integrate this. We are talking about changing the financial system, which has been around for hundreds of years, guys. So you have to understand, this is something so big. This has never happened. The financial system never changed like this in history. So this is actually so big that you cannot even comprehend what is really going on, right? The caliber is just huge. Recap of what I just heard: 95% of digital assets possibly are not solving real problems. Remember that. Remember, guys, that most of the digital assets are not solving any real world problems, and that is why they will disappear. Make no mistake.
Right. So I'm just going to recap what I've just heard. Right. So a lot of money came very quickly into blockchain. With all that money came all that expectation. All that expectation led to a number of projects which people wanted to justify, to, I guess, validate the fact that the sector needed the kind of money which was invested. Some of those projects, or 95% of those projects, are possibly not solving any real problems, so therefore they're not of value, and therefore that's leading to slower adoption. Payments and gaming is two areas where you see early adoption. If I come back to payments for a second, what needs to happen to see greater adoption of blockchain, right, in a payment sector?
The single biggest thing that needs to happen is recognition from the regulators to essentially say.
So why does he choose that specific point, guys? Because they're talking about XRP here. He's talking, the first thing that has to happen is the regulation. Regulation, what is happening right now? The lawsuit, right? You can clearly see what is happening. If you want to see it, you can see it. The only thing that is in the way is that lawsuit. Once that's finished, and we are very close, you can understand the caliber of what will happen to the price of XRP.
Hey, here are the rules of the road, the AML, KYC, the norms that you essentially need to take care of. But after that, this particular use case can essentially take off in a country. So the only thing we need is regulatory clarity that essentially digital assets or cryptos can essentially be used to move value cross-border from point A to point B. And that's it. After that, there is nothing else that's required. Companies like us and many other companies will essentially just take this use case like a rocket ship.
See, guys? Because he's talking from a institution perspective or from a company's perspective. They're just waiting for that moment. This is what you need to do to start using XRP. These are the ground rules. If you implement that, you have no problem. You can use it and it will take off. If this happens, that's when we will see price increase, because that's when mass adoption happens. We need companies to be able to use it, not just retail people and normal transactions. We need companies. We need the bigger money to flow into this. And the only thing that is holding it up is this, guys. The next pandemic is confirmed. Christine Lagarde has stated the digital euro is rolling out in October. So to issue is out, they'll create a health crisis, and the BOG has also confirmed this. Now, I'm not going to show you these videos, but again, what will it take for them to start this new financial system? Again, I've been saying this for a long time. They need to plan events. They need something to distract the people on showing them that there is some kind of crisis, some kind of thing happening, so that they will look the other way, so they can implement what they have to implement, right? A lot of people are sleeping. A lot of people are not paying attention to the real things that are happening today in the world. And this is one of them, guys. And I've been warning you for this before the news, before anything. I've been saying this for such a long time that this is coming. And look where we are today. BRICS nations announced plans to develop a new currency because they want to go around the dollar. Let's take a quick look.
the United States dollar under threat? Well, the US dollar became the backbone of the global economy after World War II because of America's robust economy, its democracy, and its transparent regulatory systems, which made the nation seem like a safe place for international investors. But now the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have announced plans to develop a new currency. Their goal is to reduce reliance on the US dollar and other Western currencies as well, and protect themselves from international pressure. In fact, Brazil and China have already struck a deal to bypass the dollar when paying for trade goods, which is a major milestone in Beijing's long-term plans to establish its own currency, the yuan, as the dominant international.
Now, this is the biggest event, guys, that you have to pay attention to, because this is already happening right now. And when this is final, when the new currency is there, when they have a system and they have this new currency where people can invest in because it's safe and it's robust, guys, you're going to see a big change in everything. And then the US has to react, and that's where actually the position of XRP comes in, right? Because when US has to react, they have to come with something even more advanced. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one. Cheers.